What is up, guys? Chris, the Unprofessional Dad, and I'm back with another knife video. All right, we're going to keep this ball rolling. Here recently, we've been showing some brands and every model of that brand that I have. We've done Civivi, Kaiser, and Vostede. And now we're going to do another one. In fact, I didn't want to do one that I had a whole bunch of knives in. I wanted to do one that was a few less so that I can make a video that wasn't 3 days long. This is going to be a shorter video because in this model, I've only got a certain amount of knives. In fact, I actually had to combine their main line with their budget line. And this is the Bestech line. Bestech and Bestechman, or Bestechman, however you want to say it. I went to school in Kentucky. It is what it is. You guys know me. I can't talk half the time. And when I am talking, half the time it's in gibberish. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't blame you for not knowing what I'm saying, but it is what it is. There's a few things about this line. You know, each line or each brand, I guess, I've tried to basically give my opinion about them and what I think about the brand overall. And with this brand, number one, you're going to see a lot of D2. Whether it's the budget line or the main line, you're going to see a lot of D2. This brand loves to use D2. Now, you're also going to see some premium blade steels as well. There's a couple options here with some really good blade steels. I mean, really good blade steels. But mainly, you're going to see nothing but D2. I don't know why this brand likes D2 so much. Probably because of the price range that it comes in at. You're getting a lot of edge retention and toughness. You know, not a lot of corrosion resistance, but you are getting edge retention and toughness for a budget price. So I can see why maybe a brand like this wants to stick with that D2 so that they can focus on other areas, their fit and finish, you know, the handle material, the overall, you know, shine of the knife, so to speak. Not how shiny it is, but like the pizzazz of the knife. And there's some really cool knives on this table. And again, there's only a few, and I'm going to show them to you. But I will say this. If you're okay with D2, you're going to get a lot with this brand. You're going to get some really good fit and finish. You're going to get, I apologize, you probably hear the thunder outside. You're going to get a lot with this brand. You're going to get some good fit and finish, good ergonomics. There's one on this table that I absolutely love, and I've talked about this knife a lot in the past. I think it's a fantastic all-around knife. But having said all that, let's get right to them. The very first one I'm going to show you is a Bestechman. It's their budget line. And this is a fantastic knife. Great for EDC, but I'm going to be honest with you. It has a problem for me. And it's the Good Boy. And you should know what this problem for me is if you watch my channel at all. Right there, the white G10 handles. I have a problem with white G10. And that problem is this. I absolutely love white G10. I buy a lot of white G10 knives. I've got 2 of them on this table. But I cannot carry white G10 knives. I just can't do it because once they get dirty, it's over. They're never looking the same again. And I like keeping my knives looking as nice as I can. So I'll carry them and stuff like that and use them, but I'm not beating up on my knives unless it's an outdoor knife that's supposed to be beat up, and I don't really care about what it looks like. It don't have a lot of value or something like that. Other than that, I'm taking good care of my knives. It doesn't mean I don't use them. It just means I take as good a care of them as I possibly can. I grew up poor, so I like keeping my stuff nice as long as possible. And white G10, it just, once it's dirty, it's dirty. But I do like the look of it, so I do get them all the time. Now, this is a really good knife. I mean, this knife is meant for EDC. This is a hard use beater knife, honestly. It's a good price. You can get these. I mean, they're not very expensive at all. They're definitely budget options, but they have great ergonomics. Look how big that is. I mean, even for a large hand, look how big the blade is. You've got a ton of cutting edge on here. You got a good sharp piercing tip. You got dual thumb studs. Now, there is jimping on the spine of the knife. I don't know if you can see that, but it is so micro, you literally can barely feel it with your thumbnail. barely feel it. You can't feel it when you rub your finger across it. It feels like you're just rubbing a smooth spine. But if you rub your fingernail across there, you are going to catch the little edges. That's how micro the jimping is. It does have a deep carry pocket clip. Screws are inset into the handle, and it is reversible. Good thick steel liners. I mean, a good finger choil, so you got a good, index for your grip. Button lock. That's a great thing. Very fidgety. You don't get a flipper tab, but you do get thumb studs. And you get that button lock. So it's easier to do it with this hand. Very fidgety knife. All the way around, a lot of good capabilities right here. This is a really good knife. They have a lot of different colors that this comes in. You can get purple with the black blade, and that black coated blade is going to help the D2 with its corrosion resistance, because D2 doesn't have a lot of corrosion resistance. So this is a really good option. This is one of the better EDC options on the table for somebody that likes a larger, big knife, because it's not overly heavy. Like, there's one on the table that I absolutely love, and I've EDC'd it many times, but it's really heavy. This is a knife that you're going to get a lot of blade, a lot of hardcore heavy use. It's thick enough to beat on and stuff, and that D2 is going to hold up to it, as long as you don't have white G10. It's going to be a great all-around knife, and at a budget price. I mean, it's just a great option. The Bestechman Good Boy. And they also have the Good Boy Junior, which is a smaller version. But if you want a full-size knife, it's hard to beat that right there. That's a good-looking knife. It's a really good-looking knife. And like I said, they've got some different colors, so you've got some options with this. Now, this next one, I don't know why this knife isn't far more popular than it is, because this knife should be very popular, and it is the Cicada's wing. Look at this knife. If you like bug outs, if you like iridiums, if you like light knives that have snappy, quick, good action with the crossbar lock, good EDC options, this right here is a fantastic knife. Now, it comes in 10CR, so it's not D2 or it's not anything super fancy, but 10CR is a pretty good blade steel. It has excellent corrosion resistance and toughness. And even the edge retention on 10CR is getting up to where it's pretty decent. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but 10CR is pretty good all-around blade steel. For a budget blade steel. It's nothing exceptional. It's not a premium or anything like that. It's still budget blade steel, but you're definitely getting some good capabilities with this blade steel for the price. I mean, this thing is coming in right around 50 bucks or under. So, a phenomenal knife. G10 handles. It's that G10 that almost has a carbon fiber look to it, if you see that. I don't know if you can see it on that camera, but it almost has a carbon fiber look to it. It's not carbon fiber, it's G10. But it's deep carry pocket clip. Screws are inset into the handle. It is reversible, and look at this action. I mean, this action is so fidgety. Thumb studs, boom, and look at that blade shape. That right there is an EDC blade right there. Very slicey, very thin blade, very thin blade. Flat grind, dual thumb studs, jimping on top of the handle and the spine of the knife. So you've got a lot of jimping there, and you can feel it. It's not super aggressive, but it's aggressive enough to get a good hold on it. Now it almost is deceptive. It almost looks like you have a choil there, but that's a sharpening choil. You can't put your finger there. There's just not enough room. But you do have a finger choil right here on the handle, so you can index your grip. Now, this is a 4-finger grip if I hold it straight, but if I can't my hand at all, it now becomes a 3-finger grip. But look at that blade shape. A cross between a reverse Tonto, a Warncliffe, and a sheep's foot all in one. I mean, this thing is just a fantastic knife. Fantastic blade. That curved belly right there, I mean, this is just, that's a slicer right there. What a really good knife. Yeah. What a great knife. Let me see. You know what? As a matter of fact, I don't want to do this because I don't want to take up a lot of time on this video. I do want to see exactly what this thing is running right now, because this is a great knife. $49.90 on Blade HQ, which means you can probably get it cheaper on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's available or anything like that, if they're sold out on Amazon, but on Blade HQ, this version right here is $49.90. 10CR, black G10, stone-washed blade, excellent. And when you talk about light, this thing is super lightweight. What's the weight on this thing? 2.47 ounces. I mean, it is very light, very snappy, fidgety. This is a fantastic. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you right now, don't carry this if you're going to plan on doing anything hard or heavy use. Any type of hardcore use at all, I don't think that this is the knife that you're going to want. I don't think it's going to hold up to it. I think that the blade's not thick enough. I think that the handles are they're not thin and they're not going to snap or anything like that. But it's a very light. It's not got the materials that like a Bug Out or a Deca has to hold up to hardcore use. Those knives are light as well with crossbar locks, but they have better blade materials. They have better handle materials. They have better all the way around heat treat. They're just better knives. They cost a lot more too. So they will hold up to, even though they're lightweight and they're thin, they'll hold up to a little bit more hardcore use. Now if you're gonna just be opening some packages, food prep, light EDC, cutting some boxes down, this right here is your knife all day long. This is a fantastic knife. Again, know what you're using and use what it's for. Don't take, you don't take a crossbow to go fishing, and you don't take a fishing pole to go hunting. You take the right tools for the job, and you use the right tools for the job. Use the proper tools to do the proper job. And if you use the proper tools, the job will be a lot easier to do. And if you use this for a hardcore use, you're not going to be happy with it. It's probably going to mess up on you. It's probably going to break, something like that. You're not going to get it's just not made for that. But if you use this for what it's for, I think that you'll love this knife, because this is a really good one. I like this a lot. Now this next knife, I have a special place in my heart for this knife because it was my very first knife with MagnaCut. And the reason that I got this knife was because I looked on Knife Center. I watched David C. Anderson on Knife Center all the time. And I saw this knife, and it was a Knife Center exclusive, and it had MagnaCut. And I didn't know anything about MagnaCut. I was just getting into knives. I'd been collecting for a little bit, but I just learned about these blade steels. I had an S35VN. I had a few other ones, but I had not had MagnaCut yet. And they showed this knife, and it was under $100. And it was a Knife Center exclusive. So I was like, I gotta get it. I gotta get it right now. So I did. And it is the Bestechman Dundee. And as you'll notice, another one in white G10. This is a Knife Center exclusive. Straight lines like I love on a handle because it's universally appealing. It's not going to tell you how to hold it. It's going to let you hold it how you want to hold it, and it's going to conform to your grip instead of your grip having to conform to the choils. So I like a straight line handle. It's got a almost completely deep carry pocket clip. Screws are inset into the handle, reversible pocket clip, big thick steel liners in there, and it is a liner lock. Now this is MagnaCut blade steel, and it does have beautiful fullers that go right down the blade, or as you want to call them, blood grooves, as I do. A great blade shape, that trailing point, clip point, whatever you want to call it, and there is a lot of jimping on top of that blade, and that is middle of the road jimping. It's not micro, but it's not aggressive. It's middle of the road. You can feel it. It gives you good traction. Now, it does have a flipper tab. There's no thumb studs. There's no thumb hole, but there is a flipper tab, and it's got excellent action. Now, if you are good at the reverse flick, actually, I don't even know if you can. The fullers almost act like thumb nicks right here, so you can open it that way. I don't know if I just don't think there's enough room there to do the reverse flick or the spidey flick or anything. I don't think, maybe you can. If you're good enough, you could probably do it. I can't, or if you have fingernails, you can. Mainly the flipper tab. Now, here's the thing. The geometry of this knife, of the blade, is not great for being a super slicey knife or anything like that. But if you're just wanting a knife that's a pocket knife for slicing, cutting boxes, I said it's not a slicing knife, but like, you know, cutting boxes down, opening packages, you know, cutting an apple, general things that you're going to do with the EDC, it'll hold up just fine. It'll do just fine. Plus, it's magnet cut, so the blade's going to hold up to anything. It's just the geometry is not great for a lot of cuts. It's just not. And that's something that I've also heard other people say, so I know it's not just me. I've noticed that before. It struggles on some cuts. Not because it's not sharp enough or anything. It's just the geometry of the blade. And so EDC knife, great pocket knife, almost like a you could, if it had different color handles, I'd use it almost like a Skinner or something like that for animals hunting. But you know, the white G10 is going to prohibit that. But all in all, it's just a good knife. It's not the most slicey knife. It's not the most rugged knife. It's just a basic good knife. Magnet cut, you can get it for $100. So if you're somebody that's looking for your first magnet cut blade and you want magnet cut but you can't afford these expensive knives, you can get magnet cut for a decent price, for under $100. You just have to know where to look. And a knife like this is great. Again, you're not going to be able to use this and buy this knife to be an all-around great knife. It's just not designed to be that way. But if you just want a knife to say that you got magnet cut, it's a great knife to have. You can use it, you can carry it, but you're going to be limited in what you can do with this knife. At least that's been my experience. You might have this knife and think completely different. You might be like, no, I can do that, anything with that. I can slice with that. I do everything with that. I beat on it. I do everything else. That's not been my experience when I have used it the few times that I've used it. And again, it's white G10, so I don't use it a whole lot. So my use is limited. For instance, cutting through, I wanted to see what it was like in cutting through those rubber tubing and stuff like that. And even though it's sharp and stuff, it just would not slice through that rubber tubing very good. You really had to force that blade through there. Now, it wasn't that it wasn't sharp, because it is. It's very, very sharp edge. It's just the geometry of the blade. Almost making this knife sound bad. It's a great knife. It's just, again, know what you're using your knife for. This is exactly the opposite. This is a slicey, great blade. This is an EDC knife. This is an awesome knife, fidgety knife. This reminds me very, very much of the Vosti knife that I had yesterday, the Talaris, or however you say it. This is very similar to that. You got blue micarta, very good looking blue. You got a wire pocket clip that is truly deep carry, and it is reversible, left hand or right hand. It is a crossbar lock. It does have thick steel liners. Now you can also see that jimping right there and the dual thumb studs, and that jimping middle of the road. Another one that's middle of the road. You can feel it, but it's not super aggressive. Good thumb studs. Let me see. The action is phenomenal. Boom. I mean, this thing is snappy. Snappy. Look at that blade shape. Look at the swedge on top. This is a slicey knife. This is a knife that you can just, it's a slicey knife. I mean, it is what it is. It's a pretty simple explanation. It's a slicey knife. You know, cutting down by almost using this like a utility knife going to work. You know, if you work with a lot of cardboard packages, anything like that, this will shred them. Now it is in D2. You're only getting D2, but look at, I mean, just again, look at that knife. Look at that belly. I know D2's not the premium blade steel that we want on all of our knives, but D2 will do good. I mean, if you just carry a good strop with you and you're willing to strop it up a little bit, now D2 is hard to sharpen. It is. But once you know what you're doing and you got some good diamond plates or something like that, it's simple. You'll get to where you can sharpen and put an edge back on it, no problem. Strop it a little bit, carry a strop with you. They have the little leather strops that you can carry, or ceramic little, you know, you can get a little ceramic rod for your keychain. You can get one to just slide in your pocket and put it in a little like slip or something, put it in your pocket. Coffee mugs. You got a coffee mug at work, you're drinking out of your coffee mug. When you're sitting on your lunch break, you flip that thing over after you're done with your coffee, flip it over and strop this on the bottom of your coffee mug. I used to see my grandpa do that all the time when I was a kid. He would sharpen his knives on the bottom of his coffee mug. I'm sure some of you all have seen people do that too. I read earlier somebody dinged up their Tidius. They smacked the edge on a dumpster. They pulled too much through on the cardboard, and when they did, they had a miscut and they smacked the edge on the dumpster and it put a ding in their edge. So they went over to their car window, rolled down the driver's side window, I'm assuming that was what they're talking about, and they literally stropped it on the rim of the window. That is the coolest thing. I've never heard anybody doing that. But it worked. They had to go home and strop it a little bit more, but that window trick worked a lot. Never heard of that. Anyways, what I'm saying is if you're willing to strop your edge and stuff and just work with it a little bit, D2 is going to be just fine. It ain't no premium Magna Cut or anything like that, but this is a good knife. All in all, fantastic little blade right there. Another one that's going to cost you, I think this is like $60 or something. You know, the Slasher. Great knife. This is a cool knife. This is a cool knife. This is another one I saw from David C. Anderson on Knife Center. The Swordfish. And it does look like a swordfish. Now here's the thing. This is going to be way too big for a lot of people. This thing is massive. Look how big it is in my hands. And I got big old hands. That is a massive blade. But look at that swedge on top right there. Boom. Look at that. Now it's dual colored G10, natural and black. You can get with the tuxedo. They have a tuxedo black and white Knife Center exclusive that has Magna Cut blade. That's a nice one. I've wanted to get that one. I just haven't. Deep carry pocket clip, true deep carry pocket clip. Now this is not reversible, so it's right hand only and tip up. Big, thick steel liners. I mean, this thing's got thick steel liners, and it is a liner lock. Now it does have, it's almost like that Spyderco thumb ramp. It's got that thumb ramp right there on the back of the blade. That's the only place that you have any jimping. You do have a small finger choil-like area right here with the liner lock that acts like a finger choil, but it's not a finger choil, and it will kind of give you a little bit of an index for your grip, but there is some contouring to the handle right there. So you do have some straight lines, but you also have a little bit of contouring right there to help you index that grip. But all in all, this is a great knife. When I see this is what I think of for like a gentleman executive knife. You know, steak knife if you're going out, you're going to a fancy meeting and you're going out to eat afterwards, or you're a family that goes to church on Sundays and you go out to eat afterwards and you want to carry your own knife that's a steak knife. There you go. There's so many different roles that this knife can fill. Again, D2, another D2 blade. So it's going to be tough, good edge retention, not a lot of corrosion resistance, but yeah, fantastic knife. Another one that's super affordable too. I mean, I think the Swordfish, you can get the MagnaCut. I think the MagnaCut Knife Center exclusive with the black and white, I think is like 90 bucks or something, maybe a little bit more, but I think it's around 90 bucks. Same price as the Dundee, maybe a few dollars more than the Dundee, but it's a beautiful knife. The tuxedo version of this, the Knife Center exclusive, it's a beautiful knife. Just a great knife. But you can get these for right around 50 bucks, I think. The D2 versions, I think they're right around 50 bucks. And that is a lot of edge. Sharp piercing tip. This is a knife that, you know, again, the edge or the blade geometry, I mean, is not the best for being a slicey knife or anything like that. But use it for what it's for. A good steak knife, good executive knife, letter opener, box cutter, not box cutter, but a package opener almost. Wouldn't use this for a box cutter. I don't think it would do very good. But that's a massive knife. This knife is awesome, and that is the Grampus. I mean, I don't know why I love this knife so much. I'm not a big fan of the textured G10 right here. It feels a little off in your hand. It's a pocket shredder. And it's not quite a deep carry pocket clip, but it is reversible, so you can put it both ways. It has this little window breaker, skull crusher, whatever you want to call it, but also a lanyard hole. Thick steel liners with a thick metal spacer, and it is a liner lock. And guess what blade steel it's in? I bet you can't guess. Did you guess D2? How did you know? Yep, D2. Look at that blade. Another swedge, spear point. I think they call this drop point, but it's spear. I mean, look at it, spear point. Flat grind. This is a lot more slicey than the Swordfish is, or this. It's just a lot more slicey because you got a lot more belly there, a lot. You know, it's just a better geometry. So it is more slicey, and you do got a piercing tip for stabbing and stuff, and a good swedge and everything for penetration. But I like this knife for EDC, basic EDC, box cutting, cutting down boxes, stuff like that. You can also use this knife. It's so thick. You could use this knife if you're like somebody that's going to be out in the woods every once in a while, and you want to have a good beater knife on you that could handle a little bit of feather sticking or batoning if you needed to. You don't want to put this knife in that situation, but if you're caught in that situation, you want a good, thick, sturdy knife that can hold up to it. This knife, I think, would do the job. I think you could baton on it a little bit. I think you could feather stick with it a little bit. I think you know, bushcraft survival. I would not intentionally put this knife in that condition. It's not what it's for, but I think it could hold up to it. It does have a thicker spine that does taper down to the end. The jimping is very small area, and it is not really micro, but there's so little of it that it's almost like, what's the point? Now there's no thumb studs, no thumb hole, but you do got a big protruding flipper tab. So you got good action. That's a heavier blade, so even with that good action, it's still, you got to force it to jump out there because it's a heavy blade. I don't know why. I love this knife. I absolutely love this knife. I won't say it's my favorite knife on the table because this knife is such a good knife, this little Cicada's wing. But even over the Cicada's wing, this Slasher is probably the best knife on the table in my opinion. It's just such a good knife for EDC. But if I wasn't going to take this Slasher right here, this Grampus is the knife I'm going with because I like that big, piercing, just strong, sturdy, bulky knife. And that's exactly what you get with this Grampus. Now this is about 80, 90 bucks, so it's a little expensive, but you're getting what you're paying for. this is a great knife all around, a really good knife. And the last knife I'm going to show you is a premium edition of the Bestech. And I don't even know why I got this. I think I got a really good deal on it through Blue Ridge, and that's why I got this. Because I know what it sells for, which is right around $200. But I think that I got a phenomenal, like insane deal, like you can't pass up. Like almost like I'm buying one of these other knives at a discount. That type of price. So I had to get it. And it is the Horus. Now this Horus is, I don't know. I like the knife. I like the knife a lot. It's a bigger knife that I like. I definitely like that. I like the fact that it's titanium. It does have carbon fiber inserts into it. It's got a milled pocket clip that's titanium. Now it's not reversible. It's right hand only, tip up. It is a frame lock. S35 VM blade. S35 VM blade. And you do got big thick fullers on both sides. The jimping on top of the blade you see is about the same as the others. There's just not a lot there. But here's the deal. It does have a finger tool right here so you can index your grip, and it does form around your hand. But here's the deal. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just not a comfortable knife to use. Honestly, it's just not. I like the knife. I like the look of the knife. The look of the knife is cool. It looks cool. But it's just like holding a big piece of metal in your hand. It's very slick. There's not a lot of traction in your grip. There's not a lot of jimping, so you don't get a good hold with your thumb. You do have some good, indexing with your grip, and it does form right here with this little hook around your pinky finger, so it kind of like sets into your grip right there. But all in all, it's just, when you hold it, you can definitely feel that you're just holding a plain, flat, smooth piece of steel or metal, because it's titanium. But that's what it is. It's just a very slick, smooth piece of metal. If your hands get wet at all, anything like that, it's going to be hard to hold, to do anything with. Now, if it's something that you're just looking to carry to, and you're not going to be doing a lot of hardcore heavy use with it, if you're always going to be in a very dry, arid situation, this will probably work just fine for you. This is also another knife. I'm glad I just done that. This is also one of those knives. It's very easy to put too much pressure on the lock and not be able to open it. So even though it's in the right hand configuration, I can't open it hardly in the right hand. I have to hold it in my left hand to open it. Because it's too easy to put pressure on the frame and it will not open. But I do like the look of it a lot, and that carbon fiber, it pops a little bit. That blue pocket clip, the blue spacer, that titanium spacer, all of it pops. There's blue lines throughout the knife everywhere along the top, and I love blue. So there's a lot about this knife that I really like. As far as the aesthetics go, it's just hard to explain. When you put it in your hand and you go to hold it and use it. Now the blade, there's nothing wrong with the blade. The blade is great. I like that, the clip point blade. It's very flat, very slicey, S35 VN, good fullers. The blade is great. The blade, there's no problem with that. The blade is fantastic. That's a good blade on a knife right there. For EDC, for hard use, heavy use, whatever you want to do, a good piercing tip, stabbing, slicing, whatever you need to do, that's going to hold up to it. It all boils down to the handle, and the handle is just too flat, too smooth, slick. So it's just not very, it just wouldn't make a good EDC knife all the way around, in my opinion, because of that reason. Unless you're wearing gloves with some rubber traction on them, this might be a knife that slips in your hand a lot and stuff like that. So ultimately, it's a good looking knife. It does have a lot to offer. It's a great knife to have for the collection, but It is what it is. And that is the Horus. But there you go, guys. That is my Bestech and Bestechman knives. I would say the best two knives on the table, without a doubt, are these two for EDC. The Cicada's wing, you can get it for under $50. This is a home run steal. It really is. And if you want something that's a little bit tougher, a little bit more sturdy, a little bit just better feel in the hand, it's a heavier knife, but it's still got that snappy action. Still quick, still snappy, still all the things. It's just a little bit heavier and more sturdy than the Slasher. Lightweight, snappy, the Cicada's wing. A little bit more heavy and sturdy, but snappy, right there, the Slasher. Both of them are great knives. Both of them have good EDC blades. They're both just great. Both crossbar locks, both quick. Dual thumb studs. I mean, they both have a lot to offer. A lot to offer. And if you wanted a good beater knife, hardcore heavy use knife that you can literally take out to the woods if you caught yourself in a bad situation and you wanted to make sure you was prepared for it, you could get away with this Grampus right here because it's built so sturdy and tough and bulky. I think he'd hold up to it. Plus it's D2, and D2 can take a lot of abuse. So that's a great knife. But there you go, guys. I hope you like what you see. And that is my Bestech and Bestechman. Tomorrow I am going to do Kershaw. And I've got several Kershaw knives. So we will see some Kershaw knives tomorrow. And I will show you some that hopefully you'll like. I've got some budget options. I've got some more higher end options, and we will see what you think. So I appreciate it. I'm Chris, the Unprofessional Dad. Links in the description for my Unprofessional Dad merch and for the premium members group knife of the month giveaway. So check out the description below, and all these knives will be linked. So I appreciate it, guys. I'm Chris, the Unprofessional Dad, and I wish all of you sharp knives and happy lives. I'll see you in the next one.